Damn, Stephen A went in. He's questioning. Basically, this should be Kelsey Mitchell's team, is what it sounds like to him. And other people are starting to say, oh, this needs to be Kelsey Mitchell's team. She should have had a ball at the end of the game. I'm going to be real. I don't care about none of that. This is the Clark show. None of us showed up for Kelsey Mitchell. Let's keep it real. That's why I'll be glad after this season when they go their separate ways, so we don't even have to have this conversation no more. I'll be glad when they go their separate ways. We don't even got to have this conversation no more. Indiana Fever, y'all can keep Kelsey or Caitlin. Pick one. Y'all can't afford both.
Stephen A. Smith just set the WNBA on fire. He didn't simply critique Caitlin Clark. He questioned whether she should even have the ball when the game is on the line, calling her a PR-driven star and suggesting Kelsey Mitchell deserves the spotlight sparked outrage. The message was loud and clear. This wasn't just criticism of Clark, but direct challenge to her role in growing influence.
No more. Indiana Fever, y'all can keep Kelsey or Caitlin. Pick one. Y'all can't afford both. Let's go our separate ways and do our thing separately. That's kind of where I'm at, bro. Stephen A, bunch of people going in. The ball should be in Kelsey Mitchell hands and all of this stuff. Then the Caitlin Clark off the floor stuff. Man, this is crazy. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit the bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. This is the pile on Caitlin Clark moment. Pile on Caitlin Clark. Any negative feeling you had about Caitlin Clark, get it out there and throw it on her now. Get it out there and throw it.
The bombshell came when Stephen A. argued that the Indiana Fever should belong to Kelsey Mitchell, not Caitlin Clark. He pointed to the numbers, calling Mitchell the more efficient scorer, better shooter, and steadier option under pressure. In his view, keeping the ball in Clark's hands isn't purely about basketball strategy. It's about following the narrative, challenging Clark's leadership, and suggesting popularity may be influencing decisions.
Caitlin Clark, any negative feeling you had about Caitlin Clark, get it out there and throw it on her now. Get it out there and throw it on her now. None of these people had nothing to say. They only highlight when she fails, when she has a blunder. Paige Beckers lost 2 20-point leads in the last 4 games. Nobody said nothing. Nobody said nothing. She's had 6 points versus Connecticut Sun. She had a fourth quarter lead blown last game. They blew a fourth quarter lead versus the Atlanta Dream before that. Nobody will say nothing. Only Caitlin Clark. It's crazy, man. Let's get into what Stephen A had to say. At this point,
It didn't stop at the court. Stephen A. Smith went further, arguing that the 24-year-old superstar should address the political theater surrounding her name. He insists she's an adult who can help calm the growing culture war controversy. But placing the league's broader social tensions on a young player feels less like constructive advice and more like an unfair attack on her character, leaving her simply trying to focus on basketball.
Said nothing. She's had 6 points versus Connecticut Sun. She had a fourth quarter lead blown last game. They blew a fourth quarter lead versus the Atlanta Dream before that. Nobody will say nothing. Only Caitlin Clark. It's crazy, man. Let's get into what Stephen A had to say. At this point, bro, I'm just ready for Kelsey to get her own team, and Caitlin ain't even got to deal with this. This is wild, man. It's wild.
You can't, as a coach, be giving the ball to Caitlin Clark just because she's Caitlin Clark. Not when you got a Kelsey Mitchell on the floor who is absolutely positively balling for you on a night-in, night-out basis, shooting better from the field, shooting better from three-point range, shooting damn.
The reaction from Clark's camp and fans has been explosive. The claim that she handles the ball because she's famous is an insult to her passing ability. She ranks third in the league in scoring and second in assists, yet critics call her a liability. This anger reflects how the narrative ignores double teams and physical pressure nightly. If popularity were the reason, why would defenses focus so heavily on stopping her?
You're not paying attention. Now Caitlin Clark only got the ball because she's popular. She's third in the league in scoring, second in assists, but she only has the ball in her hands because she's popular, and that's why Stephanie White kept it in her. All right, bro. Yeah, this is some bullshit.
I'm looking at Kelsey Mitchell, and I'm like, that young lady needs to have the basketball in her hands.
Well, let her go get her own team. That's fine. That's fine. Go get your own team. Go get your own team.
When it counts most. Let her make that damn decision. because she seems to know what the hell she's doing.
There ain't gonna be no decision. She's just gonna shoot. She shoot every time. But I'm not coming at Kelsey. She's balling. But at this point,
let's examine the efficiency argument Stephen A. keeps emphasizing. He praises Kelsey Mitchell for her superior shooting percentages while overlooking how those shots are created. Mitchell is an elite isolation scorer, but critics say she could become a black hole. Clark, meanwhile, orchestrates a complex offense while facing relentless defensive pressure. Saying Mitchell should be the true leader ignores the gravity Clark creates for teammates every night.
Kelsey Mitchell.
So basically, Kelsey's team. All right, cool. At the end of the season, pay Kelsey, not Caitlin, and let's go our separate ways. Pay Kelsey, trade Caitlin, and we will never have to talk about this again. We'll never have to talk about it again. They spoke about some of the things that Caitlin Clark is dealing with off the floor. Let's get into that. I can't believe that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hold on. Let me get into this. Stephen A., you know nothing but a box score checker. You watch no WNBA games. Pushing this is crazy talk. Kelsey should have the ball because she's allegedly the best player on the Fever. Mitchell is great.
Tensions in Indiana are reaching a boiling point, with some analysts calling for a complete separation. If veterans or the media continue framing leadership as a tug of war, team chemistry could suffer. The argument is blunt. If Mitchell is considered a star, pay her and let Clark find a team where she feels valued. It's a radical stance, but when major voices call for Clark's fourth quarter benching, the relationship becomes increasingly strained.
Hold on, let me get into this. Stephen A., you know nothing but a box score checker. You watch no WNBA games. Pushing this is crazy talk. Kelsey should have the ball because she's allegedly the best player on the Fever. Mitchell is great ISO scorer, but that's all. She averages only 3 more points while taking more shots and always seeing easy coverage because game plans are made on stopping Caitlin Clark and beating her up every game. Yeah, Kelsey gets 3 more points, but Clark averages 8 assists. Nobody else on that team sets anybody up, especially Kelsey, who was absolutely allergic to passing the ball. Yeah, he went off. She's a great scorer, but she's a black hole with the rock over dribble.
Critics accuse Stephen A. Smith of relying too heavily on box scores instead of watching the games. They argue he's promoting a headline-friendly narrative rather than what happens on the court. Watch the film, and Clark faces constant traps and physical pressure, while Mitchell benefits from defensive attention, ignoring that gravity punishes Clark for being the primary focus of opponents' game plans. Sometimes, context matters more than statistics alone.
And Commissioner Adam Silver, the NBA, said it best. It's like political theater or whatever. It's been politicized when it comes to Caitlin Clark. If you're Caitlin Clark, there are contemporaries in the league taking hits because of the narratives and the perceptions that are being put out there that drastically favor you. You gotta help quell that noise.
So now Caitlin Clark has to talk politics. At 24 years old, she has to come out and start talking about politics. This shit is fucking disgusting, man. I'm disgusted with Stephen A., man. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. This Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Stephen A., I'm fucking disgusted with you.
The frustration goes beyond basketball. It's about perceived double standards. Critics argue that other young stars can struggle without facing the same scrutiny Clark receives when she turns the ball over or misses a key shot. Stephen A. Smith's criticism of her turnovers and leadership has intensified that debate, especially among fans who believe her playmaking creates opportunities that go beyond the box score. The suggestion that Clark's minutes are based primarily on popularity is particularly insulting to those who believe she has earned her role through performance and work ethic. It also fuels a perception that every mistake becomes another reason to question her legitimacy. The debate over Kelsey Mitchell adds another layer. Mitchell is an elite scorer, but Clark supporters argue that her role as a point guard and primary creator is fundamentally different. They believe comparing the two strictly through efficiency numbers ignores defensive attention and offensive responsibilities. Fans are also questioning demands that Clark speak on politics and social issues simply because she has a massive platform. They argue that being a prominent athlete does not automatically make her responsible for every public debate. Ultimately, the growing concern is that constant comparisons could create unnecessary tension between Clark and Mitchell, even if their relationship remains strong. Critics believe Stephen A. Smith's comments go beyond analysis, arguing that they shift the standard around Clark while creating unnecessary tension between her and Kelsey Mitchell. Although he says he doesn't want division, some fans feel framing the Fever's leadership as a Clark versus Mitchell debate risks creating conflict where none existed. The turnover argument has also drawn criticism. High-usage point guards naturally handle the ball more, meaning mistakes can come with greater responsibility. Supporters argue that focusing solely on turnovers ignores Clark's playmaking, defensive attention, and ability to create opportunities for teammates. Mitchell, meanwhile, deserves recognition as an elite scorer, but her efficiency can't be viewed separately from the attention Clark commands. Opponents frequently design defensive schemes around limiting Clark's influence, potentially creating better opportunities for teammates. That context matters when comparing their numbers. Fans are also pushing back against expectations that Clark should become a political spokesperson simply because she has a large platform. They believe her responsibility is to compete and perform, not represent every social or political position. Ultimately, the concern is that constant media comparisons could overshadow the actual basketball. Clark and Mitchell can both be valuable without turning their roles into a competition. The focus, critics argue, should remain on how their skills complement each other and help Indiana succeed.